Clement, notorious sex pest, man who sent a pic to what he thought was a teenager, but turned out to be two men from Cote d'Ivoire.
Live from the Under Construction Stripper News headquarters in the Champagne Room, here's my interview with Cory Doctorow. Cory Doctorow is a science fiction author, a journalist, and an activist. You can find him at craphound.com. I want to talk to you about those anti-circumvention laws and the fact that the U.S. has already threatened Canada with tariffs in the past, and it is relating directly to this issue. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on the threat to Canada's sovereignty as a result of these anti-circumvention laws.
Yeah. So in Canada, there'd been like multiple attempts to get a law like this passed that would ban reverse engineering, and Canadians just hated the idea. The first MP who tried it was this Liberal MP called Sam Bolte, and she was in Parkdale in Toronto that had been like a Liberal stronghold for forever, and the seat flipped NDP for 20 years because it was so unpopular that she had done this, and you know, so like it was really unpopular. But the U.S. Trade Representative had threatened Canada with tariffs if we didn't pass a law like this.
Stripper News.
Stripper News.
Stripper News!
Don't forget to like and subscribe. The algorithm don't like these girlies, right? So you got to support, you got to like, got to subscribe. If you're on Instagram, y'all better be commenting, y'all better be sharing, y'all better be saving. Keep Stripper News alive.
Stripper News.
In 2010, two of Stephen Harper's ministers, conservative ministers, consulted on it. They were like, maybe if we consult on it, we can make Canadians feel heard, and they'll feel better about this. So they held a consultation. 6,132 of us weighed in on the consultation and said, this is terrible. And 53 of us weighed in and said, this sounds great. And so the way that one of the ministers, James Moore, the way that he resolved this was he went to Toronto and he gave a speech to the International Chamber of Commerce meeting. And he said, everyone who disagrees with me is a, quote, babyish radical extremist. And they just threw away all the negative comments. So he and his partner, Tony Clement, notorious sex pest, man who sent a pic to what he thought was a teenager, but turned out to be two men from Cote d'Ivoire.
Tony!
They crammed this through Parliament in 2012. And so this law stops us from reverse engineering and modifying the defective products that Americans provide to us. It means you can't change a car so that it'll accept any diagnostic tool. So right now, if you like take your car to the mechanic, the tool that converts the check engine light to like a thing that's broken so your mechanic can fix the car, it's a $10,000 per manufacturer per year license, right? So that's like coming out of your pocket, right? It's not like it's not like the mechanic eats that, right? That's built into the price. It stops Canadian farmers from fixing their tractors. It stops Canadian hospitals from fixing their ventilators. It stops you from installing a third-party app store. So, you know, you probably followed, at least peripherally. I don't know if you're old enough to even remember this, because I know that Tumblr is very old media. But you remember the Tumblr porn ban? And that was basically because Apple said, well, we won't carry Tumblr in the App Store, right? Well, normally that wouldn't matter, because if there's iOS users, iPhone users, who like porn, and they kick Tumblr out of the App Store, you would just use a different app store and reinstall the Tumblr app. But you can't install a new Tumblr app because you can't install another app store, because it's against the law to jailbreak your phone. And, you know, if you're on Patreon, 30 cents out of every dollar is going to Apple, because that's what they charge for every dollar spent in iOS. So we can't undo this mischief.
Stripper News! Do you guys like my Stripper News merch?
Oh, okay.
You're good. Also, like, this is perfect for a wet t-shirt contest.
Oh, okay.
But follow I cut it real low so you can see my tattoo. Ooh. Get your Stripper News merch. Ooh. You can customize it.
right? And the quid pro quo here was like, if Tony Clement and James Moore put Canada's tech sector in shackles, prevent it from marketing products to correct the defects of American products, and expose Canadians to the monetary and privacy theft of American companies, in exchange we wouldn't have tariffs. And now we have tariffs. So do we still need to have these laws? Right? Especially now that like Donald Trump is using tech companies to clobber like governments that he doesn't like. So like the International Criminal Court swore out an arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu, and Microsoft took away the International Criminal Court's Outlook and Office 365 and basically like rendered the court inoperable. So we kind of need to get off these American platforms. They are not fit for purpose. If they can block a farmer from fixing a John Deere tractor, they can brick a John Deere tractor in the field too. So we cannot win the trade war so long as we're dependent on this American infrastructure that's not fit for purpose. So one of the things about all of this is it makes Canada very susceptible to American regulatory decisions. So Canada doesn't have Cesta FOSTA. But Canada kind of has Cesta FOSTA, right? Because like Canadians are locked into these American platforms. You can't build, like every time I turn around, there's some Canadian company that's building a Facebook alike. And I'm like, guys, this is doomed, because you need people to be able to leave Facebook, but stay in touch with the people who they leave behind. No one wants to answer another social telephone, right? Like they want to like talk to the people they're already in community with using your platform. And until we make it legal to add that interoperability layer, so that when you get a message from the old platform, it shows up in the new one, and vice versa, the way Mark Zuckerberg did with MySpace. This is like building housing for people in West Berlin, or in East Berlin rather, and the housing is in West Berlin, right? Like no one's going to move into that housing, right? You need to tear the wall down. So this is the opportunity, I think, at this moment. It's the chance we have. And, to just put a button on all of this, because I know I've spoken for a long time, the Cesta FOSTA is one of those policies that had this absolutely foreseeable set of outcomes, where experts, and both the kind of experts that we traditionally talk about, so like law professors and economists and computer scientists, but also like domain experts, sex workers, right, went to policymakers and they said, this thing that you're doing will not solve the problem you think it's going to solve, and it will cause all of these consequences. And they did it anyway. And the consequences are with us now, right? And no one's really blaming these policymakers. We blame the platform owners, and like, don't exempt them from blame. The platform owners are terrible fucking people, right? But remember, like the enshitogenic policy environment was created by policymakers who ignored the advice that they were given by experts. And, Mark Zuckerberg works for his shareholders. Like, he's a colossal asshole and his memory should be a stain on the human race. But like, Tony Clement and James Moore worked for us, right? And I think that we deserve better from our policymakers.
I agree.
You're going to have to tip these little ladies down here at Stripper News so they could do more undercover coverage. Link in bio.
Cute. Stripper News. Stripper News.